How about that? Good afternoon. We call the meeting of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Brown, has the meeting been properly advertised?
Yes, sir, has.
Thank you, sir. This is the third Thursday, so we're going to ask our Assistant County Administrator, Mr. Mosley, to come lead our prayer and pledge of allegiance. Please stand for the prayer and our pledge.
Let us pray. Gracious and kind Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and all your blessings. We ask that you would bless this body with the wisdom, the insight, and the foresight they need to transact the business community. We pray, Father God, for all those who may be going through terrible times. We pray that you be with them and strengthen them. These and all other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
Mr. Mosley, have you all selected officers for the Youth Commission? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Let me just do this. Youth Commission, would one of you all like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Testing.
Yes. Come to the mic and say your name for us, and then we'll do it. Okay. Say your name.
My name is Justin Jones.
Okay, now just lead us in the pledge. Just stay right there.
Right.
Stay. You okay? Just not rehearsed, so you did okay.
Come on.
Waiting on you.
I pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Justin. I'm on the school governance team at Waldorf Path, and they're doing a thing that's called the Leader in Me. Justin, you just got indoctrinated, where they try to capitalize on leadership experiences. So, all right. Thank you, sir. Proclamation Youth State Parks Day. Dr. Bill?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. We are Keep Live Beautiful. I'm Dr. Karen Bell, and we are so grateful that you allow us to come before you today. We're here to talk about your state park. Just want to mention that it's kind of funny how you go around Liberty County and you meet people and you say, yeah, we got to clean up at the state park. And it's Fort Morris. They say, who, what, where? And they lived here, been born here, and didn't know it. So I invited them. I said, hey, you can come out and see it for free. But it's first time by coming out and clean up. So it's always, I even find stuff that I don't know about Liberty County or discover as we drive around. So I encourage everyone to come out and see our historic state park, which is Fort Morris. We're doing that on September the 28th. It's going to be from 9 to 12. We give you all of your equipment, so you don't need to bring yourself, be dressed. But we have all the equipment for you, and we'll even give you a free T-shirt. So come on out.
This is a proclamation for your State Parks Day, Fort Morris State Historic Site Cleanup. Whereas state parks can preserve natural beauty, wildlife habitats, and clean air and water, they can also provide open space for future generations. And whereas state parks can commemorate and preserve historic sites such as Fort Morris State Historic Site in Sunbury, Georgia. The fort is on the bend of the Midway River and played an important role in the protection of southeast Georgia. And whereas it is important to introduce a new generation to our nation's parks because of the decline in park attendance over the last decades. And whereas state parks can boost the state's economy through tourism, recreation, and relocation. And whereas these efforts benefit state parks by encouraging cleanups to prevent litter from entering waterways, harming wildlife, and polluting the air. They can also help manage invasive plant species and maintain ecological balance. And whereas state parks can improve the quality of life for all Americans by providing access to nature and the outdoors. Spending time in state parks can promote exercise, good health, and community involvement, and encourages families to get outdoors and visit America's parks. And now, therefore, I, Donald L. Lovett, Chairman, do hereby proclaim September 28, 2024 as your State Parks Day, Fort Morris State Historic Site Cleanup in Liberty County, and urge all citizens to recognize this observance and visit your state park. So declared on this 19th day of September, 2024.
And sir, can I mention two things before we come up there, if that's
Certainly
okay?
can.
So I put a coaster on your, before you on your desk. It's Georgia Coast, it's not an ashtray. We talked about that last time. Tomorrow, if you, we have 40 bars, restaurants, or veteran organizations that have these coasters. And tomorrow's the day that if you go out starting tomorrow, you can take a picture, post it, and we'll have some great prizes for people that do that. And this is just to let you know that cigarette butts is litter too. It's so small, and people think it's okay to drop them on the ground, but it's not. They can contaminate our water. And then we have our Rivers Alive that's coming up next month, and it's going to be great. And the reason why I love to keep announcing that is because S&F has come back. Well, since COVID, we haven't been able to gather after our Rivers Alive cleanup, and that was sponsored by S&F, and they are going to sponsor it this year. So we're all going to gather after each city and county cleanup. We can join together and talk about our cleanup and find out about each other at the field next to Riceboro City Hall. And that's in October the 26th. And I just want to point out that I have one of our executive board member here, if you'd like to say who you are.
I'm Joey Simmons.
And then I have two board members.
Tim Scott.
Mia Wilson.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Bell,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, remember in the military, they said, if it don't grow on the ground, pick it up.
Yes, sir. That's true.
If you all come for the young people, teaching moment. America, let's say, Declaration of Independence, what year? 17 what? 76. See this emblem down here? It says Liberty County, what year? 76. So that's 1 year later, right? So Liberty County played a big part in America being a free country. And the same fort they're talking about now played a part in that. So that's just a tie-in between American independence and Liberty County and Fort Morris. So it is a place that we should recognize and respect. Now, what parks do, sometimes their funding is based on how many visitors they get. So as Dr. Bell said, we need to all put Fort Mark on our visitation list. I mean, it's not like a Fort Stewart, so don't look for that. Don't look for that. But it's a beautiful place right on the coast, right on the river, that we all need to be appreciative of. We're trying to push for more funding for Fort Morris. It's been a challenge, but trying to push more funding for Fort Morris. But I want you to have a tie-in to what our state park did, what part it plays in American history. Okay. All right.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good.
I think she's trying to do it.
Oops.
One more. Oh,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Slim.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Now we have a house full of young guests here from all over Liberty County, and we want to take the time now to recognize them, have them become an official part of the Liberty County family. So, Mr. Mosley, who's leading the effort in the swearing-in ceremony? Who's staging it for us?
Yes, sir.
I'm participating, but you stage it, okay?
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Frazier was on time for this.
He said he was behaving today.
Thank you, Commissioner Walden.
Because you,
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, I know you do swearing in for our youth commissioners. We're going to ask them to come forward. We have 4 seniors. I believe we got 1 freshman, and we have a number of juniors and seniors. The 2 schools are represented, Liberty and Bradwell, and we have 1 homeschool. We're proud to have her, which y'all know.
School that won that championship.
Yeah.
And
We got
very
uniform.
bright and articulate young people.
They sure are.
When you come back, there'll be somebody who will be a spokesman for them. Could be you, Mr. Justin. Could not. All right. You ready, sir? All right. Where, Patrick, is that good for you? Good for you? Okay. All right. You raise your right hand, please. I'm going to say aye, then everybody say your name starting with you, first row, then the second row, okay? And say your name nice and loud so we can hear you. All right. Okay. I.
Daisy Keller. I, Adelaide Gordon.
Just your name.
Zariah Keller.
Outside voices, outside voices.
Jada Cunningham. Riley Long. Marcia Caraballo.
Justin Young.
Ava Berger. Franklin Ellis. Sanaya Harley.
Okay. Now just repeat after me. Do solemnly swear or affirm. Oh, miss one? Okay. All right, hold on. We got to go back and catch one. Just say your name, baby. Lydia Jones. Okay. Now let's go back. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support. Uphold. And defend. The Constitution. Of the United States of America. And the laws thereof. That I will support. Uphold. And defend. The Constitution. And the laws of the state of Georgia. Not inconsistent therewith. That I will observe. And obey. The laws. And ordinances. Of Liberty County, Georgia. That I will faithfully. Perform. And discharge. The duties. Incumbent. Upon me. As a member. Of the Liberty County. Youth Commission. Fairly. Honestly. And to the best. Of my skill. And ability. So help. Me God. Let's see. You all move faster than we do. Come on up here and let's get a picture behind us. Oh, and be behind them. Hey, young people. Idea number two. Come back where you were. Just face the audience this time, and we'll. Yeah. If you will, let the seal be shown that says Liberty County.
We're doing it by height. Hey.
Mind your windows.
Mr. Mosley, you got the knee line in front.
The young people. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yes, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
What are you thinking about, Mr. Patrick?
Justin.
There you go.
And when you're done, don't move for a minute. I got one more set of instructions for you.
Knees pop.
Any parents in the audience? Raise your hand if you're a parent. I'll support it. Yay, parents. Good job. You got young people? Young people, you're going to come to the left of that podium. You're going to come around. We're going to do a walk through shake hands. So come around up on the steps around. Come to your left. And then we're going to greet you.
I'm gonna do like my grandma and give her a piece of candy.
You want to do this one?
I only got 5.
Commissioner Gillum. Let's let them come in. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations, number one. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
They didn't tell you?
You're still growing. Good job.
Hand of applause for those young people. We look for great things out of them and them being in the program. Thank the sponsors.
And I want to thank them for following instruction. Commissioner Walden.
Did very well.
I'm glad to see you.
Now, Mr. Moses, are they gonna stay with us for a while? I can excuse them.
I think most of them would like to go, so I'm going to school.
All right, young people, I'll excuse you at this time, but please come to visit again. You don't have to leave. No. No.
I mean, we are about to talk about money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Some bright lights in that group.
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Samantha, we'll talk about finance.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The first item on the agenda for finance is to report on the July 2024 financial statements, the first month of our fiscal year. Starting with the general fund, as of the end of July, we have collected approximately 15% of our budgeted revenues and have spent approximately 32% of our budgeted expenditures. These percentages are based on the FY25 budget that you all adopted in June that was equal to about 3 months of the prior year fiscal year budget. So the percentages have been adjusted accordingly. We're currently showing expenditures exceeding revenues for the month by $2.4 million, but this is expected this time of year considering we don't collect much in the way of property taxes. We currently have 4 months of operating expenditures in our unreserved fund balance. This is down just slightly from last July, but we're about on par for this time of year. Looking at the departmental expenditures, there are a few departments that are running ahead of schedule for this month due to mainly the timing of contract renewals and vendor payments that are required to be paid at the beginning of the year. As I mentioned, the variance calculation assumes that all of the departments will expend their budget equally over the fiscal year. However, this is not the case for many of our departments. But we certainly expect all of these that are showing over for the month of July to fall back in line as we continue throughout the year. Turning the page to solid waste. For the month of July, we're reporting a small net income of about $49,000. We've collected 25% of our 3-month budgeted revenue and have spent approximately 20% of our budgeted expenditures. Again, these were calculated based on the 3 months of our operational budget and adjusted accordingly. There are a couple of departments for solid waste that are currently showing over budget, but we do not anticipate any of them to continue to be over budget as we continue out the fiscal year. Turning the page to special revenues. Let's see. I just lost my place. There currently are no special revenue funds that exceeding our expectations, with the exception of one small item for the victim witness district attorney, but that's just based on timing of expenditures. We're only in the first month of our fiscal year, so this will level out as we continue forward. Now on to the sales tax reports. Our revenue for sales tax 7 was $1,180,000 approximately, and this is our highest collection month for sales tax 7 that we've had.
Really?
It's very good start for our fiscal year. Similarly, for T-SPLOS, we received $1,018,000 for the month of July. Since the inception of T-SPLOS, we have collected $43.2 million in total and have spent about half of that, $20.2 million, on our T-SPLOS projects. And this concludes my July report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I just remind the commissioners to continue to look for projects, that will fit your budget, of course, but let's use those funds wisely. Mr. Brown, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I was watching the news the other day. They were talking, it was Wayne County, and I guess whatever circuit they're in, with the juvenile court, they were having issues with, you saw that, Samantha?
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah, and I said, I don't recall us ever having any issue like that. They were running out of money, and they were going to have to hold off prosecuting juvenile cases.
Correct, yeah.
And there were some people waiting on those cases, both sides.
Sure.
Some didn't want them prosecuted, and some wanted it. And they were talking about they had to kind of cherry pick as what cases they will be able to prosecute because they run out of funds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, we don't have that problem that I've been made aware of.
Good. Any questions for Ms.?
Ms. Samantha and
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown? The money that's owed to the county from a municipality, y'all know where I'm going. Where is that reflecting at? In this budget or in the old budget? And what are we doing to do collection?
That is the receivable side, goodness, it's raining, is reflected in our general fund receivable balance. The actual revenue, since it pertained to FY24, was in the prior year. However, we have not collected some of that. And you want to take?
As far as whatever action the board, I think we said this last time, whatever action the board would like to take in addition to letters being sent, that's what's happened at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you reported that there was positive feedback from the county seat, and then we were going to try to schedule a meeting with the city of Walthourville. I guess we need to do that after the countywide. Yeah.
And also,
I hadn't heard anything from them on your own since that time. Okay.
No, sir.
and also, what about since you call that name, what about the city of Hinesville with the election?
That's why I said the county seat.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We actually expect payment any day from the city of Hinesville. We've been in discussions with the city manager and the CFO.
We're not cutting them no deal.
We have negotiated,
Yeah.
but
I want
Yeah.
my money.
yes, sir.
Our staff met, their staff met, they went over the process, they went over all the nuts and bolts, if you will, and they came to an agreement on what the
Yes, sir. We
reimbursement
did.
would be.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Chairman, was that recently?
Not too very long ago.
May,
Well, I
no.
mean, these smaller cities are growing more and more, and I don't want us to be looking at this dollar amount here when we ought to be looking a little bit further, so let's make sure that whatever we anticipate, because we know some of the other cities have annexed and different things have happened, so probably gonna need to look at that also.
Yeah, okay.
Just within a 30-day window, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
The window's been longer than that.
Do I?
Window's been wider than
Yeah,
that.
the window is very-
It's been wider than that. Yeah, wider than that, yeah. All right, sir. All right, sirs. Okay. Budget amendment?
Okay, the next item on the agenda for finance is the budget amendment for fiscal year 2025. Included in your handouts this evening is the proposed general operations budget amendment to cover the remaining 9 months of our fiscal year. As you recall, back in June, it was decided in the county's best interest to hold off on adopting the FY25 budget as proposed to allow additional time to review the preliminary tax information, tax digest information. Therefore, you approved a budget equal to 3 months' worth of operations based on the previous year FY24 appropriations. Following a review of that material and follow-up discussions, it is our recommendation that you adopt the FY25 budget before you this afternoon for the remainder of the fiscal year. Included in that amendment summary packet is the proposed FY25 special interest items. These items are the ones that had been included in the previous proposed budget with just a few small minor changes. But I would like to point out that all of the new positions included in this budget amendment are scheduled to start on January 1st. And that concludes. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Master,
Yes, sir.
there have been no other reduction in budget since we had our budget the last time? Like no cuts, cut of employees?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of. No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I made the motion to do that, and of course, I understand what Commissioner Stevens was, but my main thing was to look at the cuts, but also the potential of more revenue. That's one reason why I wanted to hold off as long as we could, and that's the reason I made the motion. And I know there was a little bit of discussion, what else do we anticipate? And so far, it looks like we're our heads above water, and we can move forward on it. So I do appreciate the board support and, holding off on it. Joey, I hope it didn't put you in a...
Can I answer for him? It didn't. We were able to operate. So thank you all. I heard you all had some sessions with staff, and we appreciate that. And I think it's a lot of hard work has been done. And this is a good budget that we're moving forward with. And we just look forward to doing when you over here when the auditor came in, he come into Liberty County on our stewardship. So I think, it speaks for itself, really. So this is just another piece of that. We've gone through that process now. So as chairman, I'm ready to move forward with the budget. I can't do it on my own, so I have to have some help.
Chairman, I'll make the motion since I was sticking the budget. Said not to pass it, but I'll make the motion that we move forward with it. I am a little disappointed that we didn't be lucky enough as some of our counties to the north of us and the south of us that got a lot of money from our two state senators. But I understand there's just a small portion, but, we don't need but just half of that small portion.
Yes, sir.
But,
That's your motion, sir?
my motion,
All right.
sir.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the budget amendments presented, and you're right, we did, they did come through with some extra, should I say extra, or just funds for the bypass? For the bypass. And we're constantly knocking on doors, we're supposed to meet sometime soon with one of the senators, so our hands is always out trying to get more funds to.
But we've come a long way, Mr. Chairman. It was called the bypass, and then it was changed to the
Freight route.
freight route. Now we are back to the bypass. We're making a lot of headway.
One of the same. One of the same.
We're starting over again.
Mr. Chairman, I just got one question for clarification.
Yes, sir.
I know that he's coming up later, Chief Darby. Just got a question on the firefighters. What will this do to, Mr. Brown, you can answer this if you want to. What will this do to the class that he's trying to get started, bring on board? Will they still have to wait till the first of the year to get started?
Well, he's got a class he's in right now, just due to
Okay.
graduate and bring on, so we've discussed this, I think he
Okay.
feels comfortable with that too.
Okay.
These will be additional hires. These won't actually, the class that's in there now will actually fill slots that are already open in there.
Okay.
And these new ones will be extra on top of that.
Okay, all right, good.
You know, we appreciate, Chief, what you do in trying to, I call it grow your own, you know. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I was real pleased at the last graduation. There were a couple of young men there who were recent high school graduates who are now firemen. So it's working. It's working. And I'm hoping Crystal will get some EMTs out of local schools too. But I did have a talk with Chief that Savannah Tech is wanting to rediscuss starting up their fire training. So that'll help us maybe again with having another conduit of personnel coming to join our fire ranks. So we're going to talk with them and see where that goes. So thank you, Chief, for your leadership in that. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Samantha.
Do I need to read?
Thank
the
you, Commissioners.
resolution?
Sorry.
Read the
Very
resolution.
thorough job. Engineering, Mr. Trent Long.
Uh-oh. Got 10 questions.
I'm gonna escape before we get them off. No, I'm teasing. So, the first two things on my status report are the pickleball and roadway striping. We got those as action items later. We'll skip those and get those next. The water system west of the railroad, we didn't get any bidders. So, do have one of them responded why they didn't, for personal reasons. So, we're gonna try to get back on the streets here either this Thursday or the
Was that
following
totally
Thursday.
unexpected that you didn't get anyone?
Very unexpected.
Oh,
We had 3 people pick up, and one of the prime ones had some personal things that he wasn't ready to bid for, so, but he did let us know.
you think they'll come back then at a later date?
I hope so.
If not, what's the plan B?
I'm gonna just have to put it out and do a little bit more
A broader?
broader and trying to, beat the streets, make sure everybody gives us a proposal for it. So,
Is that gonna be the norm now, you think? You guys, is that?
I don't know.
No?
I think there's just a lot of things that are out on the streets right now that are kind of wrapping up design-wise. So I haven't put my finger on it, so.
You don't think a part of the reason was having to maneuver around CSX, do you?
No.
No?
No, I don't think
No.
that's a problem.
Okay.
I don't think that's.
I know
a
that
problem
can
at all.
be,
In this case, it's gonna be pretty easy, because we're gonna have a bore pit on this side of the railroad right away and a hole on the other side, and we're gonna drill a hole underneath it. And so we're not gonna be on their right away very much at all. So,
Trent,
that'll go pretty easy.
wait, I'm sorry. I had a question. What happens if we don't meet the deadline of zeroing out that account next year? Is it next year, Mr. Brown?
It's 2026. You have to
2026.
have the projects under construction, actively working by the end of '26. So I think we'll be okay for that. I really do.
and I know y'all, we have a lot going on with my mind on the Commissioner Thrift, and
we
we were
have.
talking about maybe looking in that area.
I just think we had 5 things for Liberty County bidding out last month.
Really?
Yeah. So we have a lot going on.
Okay.
So he's putting together an RFP for a countywide water sewer analyzation, which will include the water sewer for that
Okay.
area also.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Thank you.
I missed the question, I'm sorry. Okay, Limerick Road overlay and repair, the project where we just got finished. We finally got our approval from DOT today for the signals. So, we got a little striping to do, we gotta change the signals, and we'll have that project done, but we finally got it today.
That might require ribbon cutting, doesn't
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
it? Yes, sir.
I breathed a little bit of sigh of relief when that came in today.
You have any idea of estimated time of completion from this?
No,
point?
we got it like after lunch today, so I haven't really even had a chance to call Sykes Brothers and say, all right, this is what we need to do. Danielle, my traffic engineer, and I are going over everything probably Monday morning, line by line of what we need to fix and what we need to do. Some of the things are covered in the Sykes Brothers contract. Some may not be, and, you know, we're working on a contract for some light fixtures. I've got some other signal folks. We got ways that we can try to get this accomplished quickly, because I want to get this accomplished quickly, and I want those barrels gone.
Yeah.
So,
For those in the audience, we were doing some road improvement, safety improvement, that's what you call it, at the intersection of Limerick and Highway 17. And DOT had us under some additional requirements that we were trying to get done. So what Mr. Long is saying, they have given us the green light, so now we can go ahead and finish that so those folks can use that.
yes, sir.
That turning lane to get out of there.
Okay, so the Villages at Limerick roadway repair, we did get bids on those. We'll be presenting that to you at your mid-month meeting. Those were a little higher than we expected, so we're going to kind of take a hard look at that and see what we need to do so we can make a good recommendation to you on those.
Commissioner Jones, although this is in your district, I did receive a couple of phone calls. Is this the roads within the?
Yeah, it is. There's some,
Subdivision?
yeah, there's some inside the subdivision that need repair.
How
Like if you,
old are these roads?
2006. The newer ones are in the early teens. The ones that are not failing are early teens. The ones that are failing are the early 2000s. So they're just shy of 20 years.
But no heavy traffic now is on that road.
Not
As far
anymore.
as we know, right?
Yeah, not anymore. And the issue on those are just, it's the subsoil is just,
That means
Very difficult.
the subsoil is failing now. It wasn't good at the beginning.
it wasn't good at the beginning. So,
So now the county has to pay for it.
yes, sir, we're going back and working on this.
Thank you.
All right, let's fix that now. When you say it wasn't good at the beginning,
When it passed proof rolls, it passed all inspections.
Yes, at that
back
time
then.
it was, okay.
It
All right,
did,
yeah.
but, you know, we were in drought condition and there were some high clay
Okay.
soils.
All right.
When the
Just wanted
rain
to-
came back and the groundwater came back up, the road went to
okay.
pot.
I just wanted clarification, okay.
Okay, lost train of thought. Miller Park Pavilion, that building is moving along pretty well. Well, Cemetery Road, it's out for bids now. We've already had somebody pick up, bid packet on it. The Flemington Village traffic signal, we opened proposals on that. That will come in your mid-month meeting. We'll be making a recommendation on that.
Are we tentatively pleased with the,
Yes, sir, we're
Numbers.
pleased with the turnout.
okay. Give me a little, I know, man, it's always have a timeline, good question.
Yes,
So-
sir. So the Flemington Village traffic signal, the contractor that was working on it before was the selected contractor. He had the good qualifications. We did sit down with the scoring team. We'll be presenting a letter to you on that. And they also had the better price, so they scored and had a good price. So the equipment, all the poles and all the long lead items were already done by the private developer. So those poles were approved by the Department of Transportation and on order. So some of the poles are not here yet, some of the equipment is not here yet. But as soon as the equipment does get here, he'll be able to move on and get that built.
We're looking at the first quarter of 2025, or?
I hope before the end of this year.
I was thinking Christmas, I didn't want to give people false promises, so that's why I said.
No, I
the
don't want
fir-
to give false promises either.
That's why I
but,
said the first quarter of
yeah, we
2025.
really need to, first quarter's probably a good, safe way to say it. I'm shooting for better than first quarter.
Okay.
How's that?
Wrap it up with a bow then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think the contractor would like to be through before first quarter.
Yeah. Trent, will that, when are they gonna be, I know it's not your project, and I'm sorry, the Larry's Curve project, is that about done? I
It
said-
is. It's very close to being finished.
still
I
working.
think in the Hampo meeting they presented, they were 90% done.
Okay.
So I think there's a little bit of asphalt work to do, a little bit more striping. There's just a few little touch-up things to do. There's obviously a puddle of water that needs to get taken care of. I don't know if you, don't know if you've noticed it or not, but there's a puddle of water that they gotta work on. But, they're minor things but it's functional, so.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually, I'm glad that they put the signals out to the side so you can see it coming around the curve. So you gotta be watching out for that.
Yeah.
I was afraid I was gonna blow right through it, but I'm doing all right.
What I didn't want to entertain was them still working and them working at the Flemington
Yes, sir.
signalization at the same time.
That's very true.
And with school traffic and school buses and all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Public Works Department is moving along pretty good. We are working on the Liberty County lead survey, so I don't know if you guys got any comments. Some of the surveys that we're sending out to people are coming back to us, so we should be wrapping that up and have that submitted to EPD by October 16th, which is the deadline. Live Oak Drive is, all the surveying's done. We're working on drafting and trying to get that drawn up so we can get that out on the streets. The Islands Highway box culvert is coming along good. We went out there yesterday. They've got a temporary berm on both sides. They got a little bypass so that the water can come and go around them. Right now, we're working back and forth on shop drawing approvals for the box culvert, precast box culvert concrete work. So we've got a little bit of, we're trying to make that on through. That's getting built and approved and worked on. Now, we may end up coming back to you going about it with this time frame on getting this box culvert materials built. We may end up running past December 10th, but we're going to keep as close as we can. And they are performing on this. They're not dragging their feet. So, you know, it seems like nothing is going on. Some days when you drive by there, there's nobody there, but there's a lot going on in the background. Roundabout's coming along good. I'm going to have a different, we got a little bit, we had some changes to it 2 weeks ago when we talked to one of the RAID team, Roundabout. I don't know, RAID is an acronym for roundabouts. I have another meeting about that tomorrow, so hopefully that'll go well. And administration building, are we bidding it out yet, Joey?
Yes.
It's on the street.
Yeah, it's on the streets, that's right. Okay, so that's all of my report. I do have two other additional items to go over whenever you're ready.
Before you go any
It's
further,
getting hot in here. I'm just trying to give you a hint.
Hurry up.
I told you I had 10
It's-
questions, I'm
it's-
down to 8.
It's getting hot in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
he
don't
got
have
you.
anything on here about the Miller Fire Station? Now,
Yes, sir.
several questions, and
Okay.
the bird bath out front, is that doing better?
Doing better. I do want to go back out and look at it. If you don't mind, let's you and I kind of get together, that way I can kind of make sure that I'm covering the questions that you have.
Okay,
And make sure we're all good.
That's
now,
him.
another
No,
question.
on the
I
middle.
know.
Okay, all right, number 7, coming down. Who's supposed to order the signs that goes out on the side of the highway, says fire station, since we can't get a light, you know, for the state, on the state, that's the state highway? Who's supposed to order those signs?
Well, we can do that internally. So Mr. Brown and I can get together on what we need to do for that and try to get that taken, because those are not part of the contract with the contractor.
Okay, I think those needs to be expedited. Since we have something to say fire truck area, fire truck entering the highway.
The little yellow signs with the picture of the fire truck.
Yeah,
So that's,
can't get no kind of light.
so that's not a DOT
Yes, it's a DOT.
supplied,
Not DOT.
It's a MUTCD standard
Okay.
sign,
yeah,
but
they don't.
DOT's not gonna put it up. We'll have to put it up.
Yeah, so even the sign that says library, we did that too?
Yes, sir.
On 84, at the complex, at the library?
I think we did.
We did.
Wow, so I thought DOT did, since it,
DOT has done some for us in the past, like the public works signs, but sometimes they'll do some of them for you,
yeah,
but not always.
All right, Trent, number 6, coming down.
Uh-huh.
What about the grass on Bill Carter Road?
I talked to them and showed them what was going on.
And,
One day late last week, and they're trying to get back out here in the next day or two to try to get that wrapped up. And I told them if they weren't, then we were going to have to get somebody to do it, and then we're going to spend the money that we owe them. Because we have about $3,000. And I rode and looked at it. I mean, most of it is in different places along the road. There's a lot of it where the mail lady gets in there and she drives all the way down the road. We got one rear going all the way down.
Right side going back.
Yeah, there's several other little places.
Yeah.
And she's not the whole problem.
Right.
I don't want
Okay.
you to think
All right.
she's the
I
whole
just
problem.
wanna make sure she don't get blamed for all of that.
Yeah, no, no, we want her to deliver the mail.
Thank you.
So, but yes, we did work on that, this past Wednesday or Thursday last week.
All right. I'm gonna let go the rest of the questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Just real quick, because it was mentioned about the sign on the east end about the library. I know we've had some conversations in the rec department meetings about
digital
signage,
sign.
about the pool and everything, because
Yeah.
some people don't even know that
Yeah.
we have a pool back there. So we could look for some
Yeah.
signage for that.
We
as
talked
well.
about that, the digital sign for the
Yeah,
complex.
it really needs to be a digital sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
All right,
need
which-
to redo that digital sign.
yeah, we talked
and
about
all our
doing that. We'll put it back on our,
Funding mechanism, but
I mean,
we
this
we
is
can
one got
find
money.
that. We can find that.
Just for one got money.
yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that, having digital sign down
Yeah,
there.
we need, if we could do something out there.
Okay. He's making a note. Okay. Yeah, they're not cheap, but it'll be worth it. Mr. Long, what else you have, sir? He says.
Are you ready to go to the pickleball?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we did receive proposals for the pickleball courts on September 5th. We did review the proposals. We had a scoring team, and we'd received two bids, proposals. I'm sorry, I said misspoke. We did receive two proposals, one from Taylor's Creek Construction and one from RL Construction Group. RL Construction Group is the one that's building the Miller Park Pavilion at this point. Taylor's Creek Construction scored a 102.8 average overall from the 5 reviewers we had, and RL Construction scored a 79.2. The proposal tabulation shows a laundry list of how we proposed this and put this out on the streets. What we're proposing is option A to Taylor's Creek Construction in the amount of $695,199.50. 695,199.50. And this will be for option A. So what we bid out and what the differences are is you have post-tension concrete so that you don't get cracks because it comes up through the acrylic surface on these courts, and it reflects all the way through. So we put out one bid to post-tension each court, which is option A. Another one, option B, would to post-tension the whole concrete area. And then option C was to do rebar everywhere. And at the time when we put it out, we didn't know which was going to be the most economically feasible for us. So as we reviewed everything, option A is not necessarily the least expensive, but it is the best for Liberty County. Because what it allows us to do is we post-tension our courts, and we can fix our courts. We keep the crack control on our courts. If something happens to the concrete in between, we can fix it, and we don't have to farm that out to somebody else to fix. So we all felt like the option A was going to be the best route for us as to be able to make this work. Now, one other thing that's on here, they do have cost or prices in here for the lighting on this site. We are looking with Georgia Power to possibly get into a contract with them, which would actually remove that line item out of this contract. And this was made aware to the contractors during the bid process, so they know that that may come out. Not through with the negotiations there on that with Georgia Power yet.
Waiting on their, right.
Waiting on their advice. So at this point, we would like to recommend option A to Taylor's Creek for $695,199.50.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question. How many courts would this be?
So this will give us 6 courts.
Six?
Plus we'll have additional concrete where you could have 2 courts that are practice sessions, but those are not post-tensioned for crack control. and they won't have their acrylic surface on them either.
On the two practice, so is that a total of 8? 2 practices or 4?
We will have 6 marked fields,
Oh.
courts, not fields, courts. Then you got space to the side for 2 areas that you could practice
Okay.
and warm up.
Right.
And those are not marked. There's no acrylic surface.
And about where is this located at, Lynn?
You know where the skate park is? Actually, kind of between the pool and Popeyes, the skate park, right there.
The old tennis courts.
Is where it is?
Kind of behind the old tennis courts, yes.
Okay.
I used to be out there.
Now, the lighting thing, is that with Alan or someone else?
Yes.
Okay. 'Cause I had his ear today about something else. Okay.
Chairman,
All right.
I know Mr. Thrift has got pickleball court in her area. I was the only one that didn't have a pickleball. We really do like, we want a pickleball court.
Yes.
I mean.
Oh, they love them.
I hope y'all, I'll meet you over there whenever I learn how to play pickleball. I'd like to, make a motion that we go with, the recommendation for our
Taylor
engineer.
Creek.
And then we'll just have Commissioner Stevens, he'll have to get him a pickleball court. And Mr. Dillard, you can use the one over there, if you want to. I'll meet you over there anytime.
I'm good on the pickleball.
There's a motion, there's a second to the motion? Motion is second, we approve the bid from Taylor's Creek Construction Option A. Have I got it right, Mr. Long?
Yes, sir.
All right. One question I have, since the one is on Airport Road, I haven't heard there are any problems with it. Has it worked
Haven't heard any.
I haven't heard
sufficiently?
any issues with it either.
Okay.
Other than they want a couple more.
Oh, yeah, okay. But as far as functionality, as far as you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody said any, I hadn't heard any issues.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were kind of like guinea pigs in Liberty County for pickleball court.
I went out there. I saw some sitting water, so.
Standing water, yeah.
But is this the same company that did those?
No,
No.
That was,
Forgot the name of it.
Siddle.
Sit.
Von Siddle did those.
Siddle, yeah.
And this will be Taylor's Creek Construction.
Right, and you were saying RL Construction Group, they're the one that's doing the pavilion.
Yes, sir.
Did Taylor's Creek put in a bid for the pavilion?
No.
I wish
Taylor's
they-
Creek is not vertical. RL Construction does vertical and concrete stuff like this.
Obviously. Yeah, the numbers are vertical too. That's what I was saying, like, I mean, why didn't Taylor's Creek put in a bid?
Since they're right there. Yeah.
They own the town, folks.
Yeah,
All in favor of our first pickleball courts outside the city limits of Hinesville?
That's
well,
inside.
actually,
I'm sorry, inside. Inside.
this county, we're doing it this time.
Well, you know what, I guess that's Hinesville, yeah, that's still,
It is.
well, let's see,
We got to go.
in a location other than the Airport Road location.
There we go.
Show of hands, please. Okay. All
I'm
righty.
glad to show y'all where it's at. I just got a little confused though, why did we call them the Liberty Independent Troop, but that's actually Stafford Park.
Stafford Park.
Okay,
But it's on the Liberty Independent Troop property.
Campus.
Sorry, that is my mistake.
All right.
So
We know
I'll
where it
take
is.
ownership in that.
We know where it is.
I know where it's at.
Yes,
We
sir.
know where it is.
Okay. We ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
So, the next one is bid tabulation for 2024 LMIG striping. We had 3 bidders on that, Tidwell, Peak, and Platinum Paving. Tidwell Traffic Solutions was the lowest bidder. We did research all of their, references, and they had all good references. And I actually ended up talking to the owner of, Tidwell. Because I was concerned about their unit price for the 6-inch solid white line, and the cleaning of the edge of the road. So they are honoring the price and, doing that. They did miss one of my addendums that said they had to clean the edge, but they realized that it's on them, not on me, so they are honoring the price. And So what we would like to do is recommend approval for Tidwell Construction Solutions. Hold on.
We don't have that?
Turned away. $121,965 even. $121,965 even. Now I want to address funding after this. Or let me go ahead and just kind of give you the little caveat. We have $209,000 from DOT for this. We have to spend 30% of that. So we have about $250,000 worth of striping that we need to be able to do. Just change ordering that amount into this contract really gets outside of our parameters as far as procurement and doing this the right way. So what we're gonna do is we have some roads from Miss Connie, and we're gonna put together another package to put out on the field, on the streets, so we can spend that money. So, you know, we don't wanna have to give any of it back, so.
So for additional striping,
Yes, sir, more strike.
so it's gonna be another round.
I'm gonna go another round.
There we go, Trent.
Mr. Brandon and I talked about it, and if we start adding more than 25% of it, we start really getting in trouble. So we're decided it was probably best to go out for another round. So, on that, though, Tidwell Construction is our recommended contractor for this.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion
I'll entertain it.
for approval for Tidwell for striping as listed for $121,965.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion and second, we approve the bid from Tidwell for the striping. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please. Get that done. Thank you, sir. The motion passes.
I think y'all are finished with me tonight.
No, you're not.
Uh-oh.
No, you're not. Got two more.
I thought you asked it.
Two of you and Mr. Brown. Appreciate Mr. Brown, mentioning the lights at I-95 and 84. They have still not been repaired yet. So Trent, do you have anything to do with that?
No, but I have somebody to call. I mean, I can make some phone calls.
Well, and actually Carmen, I've touched base on it. Carmen's
Development
already
Authority.
touched base on
Yeah.
it to Coastal EMC also.
Okay,
Just so you know, Trent, because there's been 2 calls made
okay.
last week.
Yeah.
And the last, not a question, Trent, but do you have any information that could be passed out to the department heads that's involved, like the new procedure now for putting in speed bumps?
No, but I can pull something together for you to make that happen.
Okay,
That will not be a problem.
okay.
The city's procedure is fairly good. We'll probably have to modify it a little bit to make sure it works for us,
Okay,
but we can do that.
okay.
Mr. Chair, I hate to go backwards, but with the previous bid, I know normally we do a contingency with it, but we didn't this time.
Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
Yes, sir. I should have requested a contingency on
Yeah,
that.
just let them spend that first.
Yes, sir.
Before we come back.
I was gonna go ahead and just reserve on top of that.
The way
I
I know
made,
you
I
are.
made a note to go ahead and just reserve the 10% on top in case we needed to come back to you for an amendment, and then we could do that,
Yeah, I mean,
if that's okay.
that's
Either way you
fine.
want
I
to
did
do
the
it.
math over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 10%.
Thank you.
It's easy
I
math.
appreciate you saying that.
There we go.
I do.
Gotcha.
It takes a team.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, I'm gonna start my consulting firm real quick.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Oh, one more. Go ahead.
Road renaming request, Miss Edna Walthall, the Chief Executive Officer and Facilitator and whatever else of the Boys and Girls, Frank Callen, Liberty County Unit, the Boys and Girls Club. We had her scheduled, but she had to reschedule, so she's like, she's in church, shaking hands on the way to the.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Honor, Honorable Donald Lovett and each of you, our illustrious Board of Commissioners.
Oh, you're doing
Does it
well.
sound like I want something?
You're doing well.
I heard something that sounded like that, and they usually won't.
Well, this time, it's not for me. But I thank you all for allowing us the opportunity to come before you. We are grateful for the opportunity that God has given us to help develop some young children. And in our process of trying to do things for them, education-wise, self-image-wise, and self-esteem-wise, all those good things, we came upon looking at some of the great figures that's come through the county, are still in the county. And during that time, we came upon Secretary of Defense, Lloyd J. Austin III. And not a lot of the children knew about him, in fact, none of them. But meanwhile, the point that we got to was, well, what can we do so everyone will know about him? Since he's from Georgia, and he is in the cabinet of the president at this time. We don't have a lot of that from Georgia, and the more we look around, the more we learn about him. And one person that had a lot to say about him, and I didn't bother these people to come up here, y'all. I didn't bother them. One person that had a lot to say about him was former Mayor Ratcliffe. And he is really excited that he might be coming and to well, you don't have to call me Edna, but I'll just put my name out there like that. Make sure that I know about it, and I hope it's being recorded because I know he said it. He said, make sure I know about it because I want to be there. And of course, Judge Liddy Darden III, he said, please do whatever you can to make sure that he comes and we do something in his honor, because I was there when he made general. I was there when his mother pinned him. And, so goes some more of the conversation around it. If I need them, if y'all need them, please feel free to ask them any question. But as for now, we have been going through the process of the Pentagon asking us questions because we thought that it was dropped and we did not have to come before you all, thought it was over. But they revved it up sometime like late spring or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And we're very busy trying to get our Humanitarian of the Year award for this year through because, of course, we rely on that to help raise operating funds for the Boys and Girls Club. But they're very busy and really interested in us inviting him down to, I wanted him for the Humanitarian of the Year award banquet. Well, he's going to get the award. We've set it aside for him. But his main thing was he wanted to talk to the children. So make a long story short, we have revamped everything in a proposal, and now we're to the point, if I'm saying it right, I think we're to the point that we have gotten through legal. They didn't say it, but they did tell me this is all we need from you. There are different sections that just to come down for a ceremony, just for the potential of somebody getting a street renamed after them. Who is going to pay for this? Who's going to be in attendance? What are we going to give them? I mean, even mementos. So there's been a lot of questions going back and forth, and I would like to apologize to whoever that street is the district belongs to, because my mind was no longer on it. I was busy trying to raise monies to get for the operations of this club, and until Commissioner Stevens asked me today, Edna, whose district? I said, oh my goodness, I do not know. So somebody said it was Commissioner Thrift. Please, ma'am, forgive me. I left a message, but I'll call you for anything. Please, ma'am, forgive me. And nothing's in stone. I've let her know, and the key person that I've been talking to up there, I've let her know, and she knows that I'm back and forth between the city and the county. She has asked me for descriptions of the location of the road and what entity of government, and I told her that it's two. Anything that could be asked has been asked of them. Probably part of it that's taken so long is I just haven't had the time, because number one, I got life too, but then all of the other things. And if y'all would like to ask a question of me, of these supporters, and there are many, many more who are not in here. I did not want to get a crowd and a TV and all of that people talking about. I said, look here, we got a board of commissioners who are concerned about these children, and they love history for this county just as much as I do. So I'm not going to go through all that. Plus, I don't even have time.
Right.
Excuse me.
Well, you
Thank
can
you
do
for
all that when he gets here, Matt.
Yeah.
You'll have the TV and everyone there if he comes.
With your approval, madam. We won't. We thank you.
Well, thank you. You've been very patient with them and doing what you have been doing.
A lot of
trying to get
communication.
him here.
Yeah. Jerry and I had some conversation. He's the walking history book. In that, in Liberty County, you have the E.B. Cooper, and you have the Earl Baggs. So his recommendation, I felt we would consider doing follow the same suit for 15th Street. His name was the Lloyd J. Austin III Boulevard Parkway Avenue. Yeah. That way you don't have to disrupt anything else. You just put your sign up and it has his name. Then the other part of it is now you still, that would be, if this commission agrees to that, then part of it does belong to the city of Hinesville. I think they would follow suit, but we can't make a decision for them. And then whatever Fort Stewart does, of course, is up to them, kind of stuff. But that's what we kind of kicked it around, for lack of a better way to say it. Mm-hmm. That's sort of the easiest thing to do. And it follows the precedent we've set already for some other highways we have named in Liberty County. Yeah, it'd be
in honor of, and that way the folks don't have to change their addresses.
Yeah.
And because otherwise you'd have to send notices and petition them to support the change of, and then they go through all the monetary stuff of changing their mail address and all that. So this would be the Lloyd Austin Memorial Boulevard or Memorial Highway. Avenue. Thank you for reminding me.
Listen, you stuck on the avenue part of that.
Yes, and talking to some of the people at Fort Stewart even, they have their little input and they say Avenue.
Avenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's not me. But in my studies, I took a look at E.B. Cooper Highway. Mm-hmm. It is Highway 19.
119.
But my people who live on that road, their address is E.B. Cooper Highway. Mm. So we would like to see Lloyd J. Austin Avenue. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people and citizens on 119, which is now people's address, E.B. Cooper Highway. Mm-hmm. But there are not residents on 15th Street. With that, I would like for you all to take your time, think about it, think what it would require. I know two of you have looked at it, but I'd like for all of you to consider it and get your your lawyer to look at the ordinances and see what else can possibly do, if you don't mind.
It's not a legal issue.
We're not rushing you.
It's not a legal issue, it's procedural issue.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know that there was any.
E.B. Cooper didn't have a name before that. It was just the State Highway 119. So it was named E.B. Cooper, and that's the reason those addresses are changed. In this case, this already has a name. Mm-hmm. The school, the businesses, and everything already have an address there. Mm-hmm. And so you would need to send notice to them, give 30 days notice to them if you decide to do it before you did it, and let them know that that's what's being proposed, probably give them time to comment. You've got a road naming ordinance already. Right. This says in order to rename that road, it takes 60% of those people to agree to that road name change, and then that comes before the board. So that is the ordinance that's there for you to consider.
And we respect that very much so.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman. I think if we're talking about from 196 toward Fort Stewart, that's 15th Street. Mm-hmm. And I think the first part is in the county, then it's in the city, and then, does it go back into the county again?
It may be a little.
Yes,
piece
sir.
In the county, I believe,
I
right
think
before the end.
It kind of skips around a little bit.
Right.
But 15th Street on Fort Stewart goes all the way to Gulick. You know, the main street where Popeyes is. I mean, once you get inside the Gate 7, that's still 15th Street. That goes all the way past the, yeah, to the golf, to Gulick Avenue. So I don't know, again,
That would be,
That's what I say, that's,
that'd be another phase.
yeah,
county and federal.
yeah, that'll be her conversation with.
Military.
Yeah, military.
Yeah, well, you know, we got, I mean, the name is, you know, it recognizes General Austin, but, I mean, we, in Hinesville, we have General Stewart, we have General Scriven, and I guess you just don't want to call that General Austin.
They suggest, well, it's up to you all. Let me make that clear.
No,
But in talking with them and talking with State Representative Al Williams, because make sure he teaches me, he said, it's Secretary Edna. He said Secretary is a higher level of position than General. So I said, oh.
That's not what I read from your communication with his people.
Say it again now.
That's not what I read from your communication with the staffers you've been working with.
That what? Please make it
The
clear.
secretary piece.
But it's not higher than.
Did I miss something? You know, some of the communication you share with me,
Okay. He is a general.
right, I know.
But the position that he's holding now
I got it.
is secretary.
I got
That's all I'm saying.
I hear you,
But in terms of his military title,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we don't want to muddy the water too much, want to make it hard.
There you go. Thank you.
No.
'Cause I want to sleep tonight.
Commissioner gets up, victory is a victory, you know, just take a victory. All righty. So, you're leaving it with, now, do we have to consult with, she needs to go over to our city fathers and speak with them?
Yeah, I mean, yes. sir, they
City
would
Hall,
have-
okay,
they'd have-
Hinesville,
They would
okay.
have to agree.
All
We
right.
couldn't do
Okay,
that.
and then we'll coordinate with them.
And then if the board instructs, we would develop mailings to go to those folks out there.
Mm-hmm.
But according to your ordinance, then 60% of those
60%,
folks
yeah.
would need to agree for that.
Yeah, okay.
How many-
You would ask them, you would
How
send
many
them letters.
residents are out there?
Oh, that one
I
apartment
mean,
complex,
on that boulevard?
that,
Property.
They have townhomes out there.
they have the townhomes, the condominiums.
They're not on that street. They're not on that street.
But the property owners would be the
Oh,
ones.
Yeah.
that would have
Property
to-
owners
Yeah.
would be-
Vision owners
No,
the,
property owners, not the subdivision.
and of course,
Yeah.
and- yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
The property owners.
Also abuts to the
If
road.
it
Yeah.
abuts to the road, then
That would
Right,
be-
everybody that faces the street.
That we would have to identify, not when you turn off and go into one.
No,
of those.
no.
Not
Right.
that.
No, no,
Just the main road.
no.
I understand.
All right,
It may just be
all right.
five
Well, hey,
property owners.
you know what I've learned? Let it work and let it work itself out, whether it be General or Secretary at Law, there also
I'm not interested in
Avenue
that
or,
part.
or official street naming, whatever that works out. Because
I don't know about that.
you want to be optimistic that you'll get 60%. If it doesn't, then that still doesn't stop you from doing the other naming.
Right.
So we'll try for.
Am I making clear? Well,
the
first thing we gotta do
general
is
or
see what
whatever
Hinesville
first.
says. First thing we
All
gotta do is
right,
see what
sir.
Hinesville says.
And when I get over there, are they gonna tell me, well, we have to follow what the county says?
Tell them to call us. Tell them to call us. In fact, we'll be in touch with them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all of this. Thank you.
Our,
Do we have a deadline to get
our
this?
decision to be made for us by the property owners, for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
The property owners will make our decision.
Yeah, the property owners decide, not
property
really us.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Of course,
You say
the
if you-
60% of
if you
I
go-
did it one time in Homestown.
Okay.
Oh, you
familiar.
did do that. You did.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
They say if you go that route, that will be the deciding factor.
That's
Right.
If you get 6%, you know, if not, then you go the other way.
But I also said where you're sitting, and I also know about variances. So I'm gonna have my seat, okay?
Please.
Thank you.
Ms. Walthour, is there a time frame to get your mission
She said no.
accomplished?
You know what, from the little communication that I've had with you all, I'm not worried about it because I can see you all understand the stress and the work that I'm under, and I know you're gonna move this.
Are you stressed?
She's got a gala to get. All right, ma'am. It'll work itself out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Summer food update, Michelle James. You had one round now. Let's see how.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, the summer food program was busy this year. We self-prepared this year. This was the first time, my understanding, that we self-prepared. So it was a little more work, but we were successful. We operated out of 17 sites for 38 days, and the program ran from June 3rd to July 26th. And during that time, we served 17,595 students, children. We had some hiccups as far as sustainable storage and space. So going forward, that's what we are in talks of securing to make the program better and hopefully serve way more students, because we have so many more sites that wanted to operate, but they came a little too late, so we couldn't implement them. But
These sites were not adjacent or close to the other sites you had in operation?
no.
No? Really?
No, it was several other churches. It was a couple of more parks and about 3 or 4 businesses.
Really?
Yes,
That were left off.
that were left off.
Previous.
Yes.
Because you remember after COVID, when we shut it down, we had to reapply, correct? And that's why they kind of limited the amount of spaces, locations that we could have from original. I got you.
So going forward, we would like to expand, yes, and offer those.
And in the same vein, are there some you need to phase out because the numbers weren't there?
No.
Really? Good
No.
participation across the board? Yeah.
There was none. We had Regency, who initially we started with, but they phased out early on because of their numbers. But that was the only
Because
site.
only one? Okay.
That was the only site.
Which is shocking. Why
Well,
have
they
low
had
space?
their time. The staff that was over it there. Their scheduling didn't coincide with the program.
Oh, so it was basically
The Regency staff.
During their staffing,
Okay.
yeah,
The
due to
Regency
their
staff.
staffing issues and their timing
They
for
couldn't
lunch
accommodate
and
you.
other stuff, yeah, there was
couldn't
nobody
accommodate you.
there to, yeah.
Okay.
And they wanted their own staff to operate their site.
So they wanted their own staff, which they didn't have staff to operate.
They had 2 staff, but the hours that they wanted to operate was not beneficial for the program, and it wasn't enough children showing up at that time. It was too early.
Really?
It was too early.
Yeah.
Lunchtime?
Yes.
That's pretty standard.
Yes, it was their lunchtime, and it was two ladies that were wonderful, but during their time of operation, there were no.
What Commissioner Gillard is saying, so it wasn't doing the 12 to whatever?
No,
Yeah.
they couldn't operate those
Yeah,
hours.
that's what I hear her saying.
So they wanted it like 9, 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
I think they want to be done at 12.
For lunch?
Done at 12.
9 in the morning, cold bologna.
And then we did have one site, which was the last week of the program, had an issue, to my understanding, with the noise that the children were making
Really?
in there. And I just said I want to speak with somebody offline in regards to that.
Okay.
Because they suggested if they could go outside, but it was 90 and 100 degrees
yeah.
this year, and I just told them that,
Every summer in Georgia.
that could be done.
No.
That couldn't be done. So we closed out the program, and actually that site was the highest performing site. So going forward, I want to talk with their management, because they said they were under new management and stuff like that, and it interfered with their operations.
Okay. Well, learning curve for your first year doing it, so. And you still had 17,000 meals. That's a lot of meals.
Yes, it was, and I want to give a special thank you to Mr. Chauncey White and the Fellowship of Love. That's where we operated out of. So our gratitude extends to them.
Can we say him a thank you? No? Nothing?
He was
And,
extremely
I mean,
helpful.
just looking at the numbers, whenever you look at it, I mean, what the lowest was still, what, maybe, looking at his graph, what, maybe 600?
According to the bar.
Right.
Mr. Chair, I would like to note that
Yeah, it was
last
like
year,
5
the meals served was 10,534, so that's an increase of 7,000 meals
Wow.
from last year.
Wow. And self-prepared, my goodness.
And self-prepared, and we're in talks of trying to implement maybe a hot meal for next year. So, yeah, we have a lot of things that we're playing around with to make the program even better than it was.
You have
because it's a
someone
good thing.
who would maybe
Second harvest.
Chair.
help provide that hot meal? I know.
Second harvest.
Well, we are, we're looking at that, monitoring, the price and how much it'll cost to, have them do it as opposed to, us self-preparing. But once we secure more sustainable, a more sustainable location, we should be able to provide that hot meal ourselves.
Fellowship of Love will be able to be used next year, as far as you know.
Well, we're considering, I have to meet with somebody from, I believe, LCCA, to use their facility.
Oh, really?
And in the next couple of months, we just in talks with a couple of areas.
Who made
before
that, who brought up that as an option, the LCCA?
Mr. Jost.
Did he? Okay,
So we want to look and see what we can do.
okay.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Mosley, if you recall, remember Ms. Hamilton said that she would like to work with the program earlier next year to see what can be enhanced to make it better from coastal Georgia.
Yeah, I was in, well, not with her, but her secretary.
I mean, because, logistically wise, it seems like we kind of need 2 locations. Because you're talking about, that's out of Riceboro, correct?
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then have a location to help with the meals in the city limits of Hinesville. Because, looking at this, you got Riceboro, Homestown, Lake George, that area. Yeah. But great job.
Okay, good job.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
have one question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
At the Schumann Center, where they have summer camp during the summer, are the kids for the summer lunch program and the summer camp program, are they just, do you supply meals for all of them at the same time?
We do. They have to fill out paperwork.
That's a pretty big group.
They were our second biggest.
Yeah.
Harbor Rain was number 1.
Harbor Rain was number 1. That site supervisor out there was outstanding. She always had activities going on. She was very active. That was the site also that had the problem with the noise level of the children.
in that area.
So she didn't just do lunch, she enhanced the
Yes, because
experience
to
for
my
them.
understanding, she does prime time during the
I
school
see.
year and
So
stuff
she had-
like that. So she's familiar with
Okay.
kids and interacting, and
Okay.
she was outstanding.
Great,
She was outstanding.
great, okay. All righty. Thank you, ma'am. Good job. We look forward to, like you hear him say, and I heard you say it there earlier, you start, the more you're able to do, so we look
Yes.
forward to.
I've learned some things that I can improve on to be better next year, and I'm looking forward to it.
So when do we need to entertain her before we start? How much lead time do you need to come before the commission? I know you need sometimes do some investigations, I heard that,
I think about late February,
Late February,
early
okay.
March.
Okay. All right, okay. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Chief Darby.
Uh-oh.
Fire.
You say fire?
Apparatus proposal.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Commissioner Walden, you know I get all dressed up for y'all.
Good answer.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman. Coming before y'all tonight for 2 different topics. The first topic is going to be in reference to a vehicle replacement for a tanker vehicle. We had a tanker that was wrecked back on August 27th. Since that time, we are going to be getting a payout of $38,000 from insurance company for that vehicle. I have gone ahead and reached out to multiple different vehicle manufacturers for fire trucks. Again, if this was something that we were design and build, we're looking at somewhere around a 2 to 2.5 year build time on a vehicle. So tonight I come before y'all to request an emergency purchase of a replacement tanker in the sum of $540,107. During my shopping around for vehicles, one huge thing that I did take into account was lead time for delivery. Tonight, Peach State, Liberty County Board of Commissioners, y'all have done business with them before. They could get, should y'all choose to approve this, they could have a vehicle to us delivered, ready to go within 60 to 90 days. The next person after that, we were looking at March of next year. Pricing on that did not really change from us getting it in 60 to 90 days versus the other company in March. There really wasn't much difference in cost.
Yeah.
How old was that tanker? Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Say again, sir.
How old was the tanker?
That tanker was purchased in 2010 for an approximate, I don't know, roughly, I think $350,000 to $380,000.
Insurance only gave us how much?
$38,000, sir.
Do we have other vehicles in
Depreciation.
the fleet that still going, that have a higher depreciation value, or if something happens to it?
The best way that I'll answer this is our blanket policy that we have through VFIS, which is who insures all of our emergency vehicles. That is something that myself, Mr. Brown, and I believe Ms. Samantha are going to sit down and go over and reevaluate what those agreed upon values are for these vehicles should there be a total loss of a vehicle.
And this was a 20,
This was a 2010.
So Enterprise they're not in the tanker business?
No, sir. No, sir. Unfortunately, that is one side of
Good
the
reach.
I'm trying.
Unfortunately, that is one side, the fire department, those specialty vehicles, those are something that will generally be purchased outright.
All right, let's get on the elephant. I'm sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
going to ask Mr. Brown, where were these funds?
That's the elephant in the room. Go ahead.
So we do have funds that are eligible in Splosh 6 that can be
Splosh 6?
used for, yes, ma'am. We looked at financing, but then we identified those funds, and our recommendation is to go ahead and not pay the interest through financing, and he needs the truck right away. So.
Commissioners, too, also just since that incident, 98% of our fleet or our staff has gone back through mandatory defensive drivers training, VFIS training, traffic incident management training. So we have gone ahead and been proactive in reinstilling those safety aspects behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Chief Darby,
Sir.
the other tanker had a pump on it. What size was that pump?
The pump on that truck was a 550 GPM pump. The vehicle before y'all tonight is one that actually has a 1500 GPM pump. There is a vast difference. Obviously, higher the pump, bigger. Basically, higher the number, the more water you can get. So yes, we are getting a better truck than what we had. But the main aspect that we are looking to replace is the amount of water, the 3,000 gallons of water.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Chair, I know we need this. I know we need it. Never mind. Let me say this for another day.
Yes, we do need it.
I just.
But, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve to purchase the tanker truck, a replacement truck for $540,107.
Second.
Splosh 6.
I heard a second.
Yes, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I have one question, and we might have talked about this before.
Yes, sir.
I know you said you was going to a dry hydrant and y'all had a crash. Are we pulling out a dry hydrant anymore?
We are not. So this accident was actually not him responding to a vehicle. He was moving from one fire station to another to check off equipment, and there was a mishap during that incident. But as to answer your question as far as dry hydrants, no, those types of equipment have been replaced by a device that we carry on our trucks called a turbo draft device.
Okay, so who's responsible for the dry hydrants, Joey? I mean, we encourage people to put them in. Right. So what are we gonna do with them? I mean, there's one on the Trail subdivision, in fact, there's two there. And scattered all around the county. I mean, what is the plan?
I mean, that's a great question. Not that we've addressed that as far as removal goes.
No, so as
But
far.
they don't belong to us? I mean, liability wise.
They were put in by us. We did not, from what I remember, we didn't have to pay for them. They were part of a grant we got.
That is
maybe from
correct.
Georgia Forestry.
Yes, sir.
But they are technically ours, yeah.
Part of the
Yeah, we
reason,
did address that.
part of the big reason why we have moved away from those dry hydrants, Commissioner Walden, over to our turbo draft device, those dry hydrants have to be maintained annually, and there's a cost to that. This turbo draft device, it's just a hunk of metal with a bunch of different funnels in it, and there is no maintenance. So yes, we are paying that cost, and it's also more portable.
So, I mean, what's the difference? You gotta pull water from something, right?
Correct, yes, sir. Some of the differences is with a turbo draft device, I can put that 200 feet from a vehicle and pump water, so it gives me more accessibility to bodies of water depending on what I can and can't get to. Where those dry hydrants, if there's cracks in PVCs, you can sit there and when you go to pull a vacuum on the pump, you could actually implode the pipe and suck all that plastic into the pump. You've also got to clean the filters that are sitting in the ponds.
I know that you can throw a 4-inch hose over in there and fill your tanker up, is what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
You know, I understand all these nice things that's on there, Chief. But,
Yes, sir.
you know, if we don't need them, we don't need them. But if they're serving a purpose, and we need a truck to pull from, I can understand it, but you can't pull water if you don't have water.
Correct.
And there's no water in those areas. There's no, I mean, they've got shallow wells. In fact, from, I guess we're, probably somewhere right there at 84, coming toward, Commissioner Jones's area. That's all there is dry hydrant. So, I mean, it don't make no difference. You're gonna have a truck that's full. But, I mean, it's just like this glass before I leave here tonight, it's gonna be empty. And that's what I'm asking, how many trucks are you gonna have to put out a house or whatever? You don't know that question or the answer.
Correct.
I was unsure about what we was gonna do with them because I've seen a number of them around. Some of them I think are even in the city. But.
We got one at JV Road.
Right.
There was, and yes, sir, Commissioner Gillard, there was one at JV Road, but when we actually went to go pull on it 3, maybe 4 years ago for a brush fire out there, that's where we were able to catch the PVC before it got sucked into our pump, and then we got with the reclaim center out there to use the hydrants that are there on site.
Yeah, you know, with reclaimed water out there, you don't really need it.
Yes, sir.
And I know we didn't do no maintenance on it.
Yes, sir.
That's what'll happen.
Mr. Chair, since we talk about the hydrants, like in McIntosh County, like, you know, whenever you go through there, they have like hydrants in the middle of nowhere. But how did they?
Countywide water.
They had a grant or something, didn't they have?
Right, that's what I was about to say, it was a grant or something.
They got a federal grant
federal
to
grant.
extend water systems and, you know.
Ultra grant, it's all the way around the whole.
Right.
I'm asking a question there, Chief, just to, you know, I know where 2 is, and if we're not using them, then somebody needs to be communicating with the landowner and saying, we're gonna pump them dry.
Yes, sir.
And unless they want them, and whatever paperwork we've got to do is to get it off of, because you can change a lot of PVC pipe out for $500,000.
Yes, sir.
Or you can throw another piece in there.
Correct.
But, you know, I'm not against your proposal, I'm just asking this.
Well, so to clarify for you, Commissioner Walden, regardless if we use the turbo draft device or those dry hydrants, we still need this piece of equipment because pulling that water is only half the battle. We gotta pull it, store it somewhere, and then move it to the site where the fire's at. So we still need this tanker truck. We are a rural county, and how we operate is through water shuttle, water delivery.
I got one question for you. Does this tanker have a dump tank like the rest of them?
It does, yes, sir.
So could you explain how that works?
So it's basically us, when we get to a fire, we set up a portable pool, dump the 3,000 gallons of water in it. That tanker truck leaves, goes to a dry hydrant, Commissioner Walden, or a turbo draft site where there is another vehicle. Will hook up, or even to a fire hydrant, hook up, refill that tank, come back to the scene, offload its water, and it's just a continuous round robin for water. That's what we call water shuttling or hauled water.
But we've not had to do that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We do that on a constant basis in Liberty County. That is why you have a tanker at all of your fire stations that are staffed.
Where did we have to do? How do you define what you're talking about? Is it you call it a piece of equipment, a pond, dumping it in a pool?
So a drop tank is a piece of equipment that is on the tanker that is left at the scene for the firefighting apparatus to draft water. Yes, sir. But we do. Tankers are heavily relied because we are not fire hydrant rich in Liberty County in the unincorporated area. And that's not something that I can control. You know, yes, as it comes to subdivisions and things like that, now that with the fire marshals division standing up, we can institute and mandate those things and requirements. But for existing areas, I can't, that's not something that me as a fire chief can sit here and mandate.
Understood. Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
well,
just go.
No, I was gonna say, I bet he'll think twice before he come to buy another truck with all these questions.
Man,
And I have no problem with it, to be honest with you, Commissioners. Like,
I was saying that so that we can.
Move on.
well, and one thing I do want to point out, just because on vehicles, so from 2020 to 2024, you've seen a 64% increase across the country for the cost of a fire truck. We just bought a brand-new fire engine from 2022. If we were to order that same truck today, it's got an increase to it, so.
Mr. Chairman, I know somebody made I'm sorry, I will not ever ask another question about fire.
You started it.
Well,
I said earlier, it's hot in here. Anytime we talk about fire, and I'm talking about, man, we're gonna be here to the next day.
Thank you for the in-service, Chief.
But I appreciate it.
We got a motion and a second, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
all right. I think we had lots of discussion, all right? All in favor?
we just had one person.
But Mr. Brown, can you all give me that information that I requested about fire, about the amount of calls that are public safety calls and the amount of calls that are fire? That's the only thing I want to know.
Yes, sir, I can get
If
you
you
that
can.
breakdown.
Appreciate it.
While you're on the road, so you want to go ahead to the item D, Fire Cover City Midway.
Yes, sir.
He got his truck.
I'll abstain from this vote.
All right, so, Chairman, Commissioners,
Fire is expensive.
currently, Liberty County Fire has been asked to look at some different avenues in which to provide fire services within the city limits of Midway. And the reasoning for that is the city of Midway's fire department is at risk right now of losing their state compliance due to staffing levels, response to calls, some other things that the Georgia Fire Standards and Training Council, who is what governs us at the state level, are stating that Midway is failing to meet. I will express to y'all, Liberty County Fire has been running structure fires, fire alarms, and carbon monoxide alarms, CPR in progress, vehicle accidents, and any time that EMS is on scene requesting for a fire department. City of Midway's response to their call volumes has been on a very, very low basis, so we are having to pick up those calls. In that process, I believe the mayor of Midway has reached out to Mr. Brown, to the chairman, to have some preliminary discussions, which in turn have asked me to look at some data. So these are the current non-contracted covered call types that we do respond to. Again, we have been doing this for some time now. Our year one plan that I would propose to the commissioners to look at is that we would enter into a 5-year contract with the city of Midway. It would be its inception date would be January 1st, 2025. Currently would respond out of the new Miller Park Fire Station. There would be an initial startup cost to bring equipment that Midway either doesn't have or it is subpar, substandard. So I will touch the basis of what that startup cost is, but there is a startup cost. Additional full-time employees associated with the contract, that is going to start out at 6 additional employees. I will touch a little bit more on that here soon. One additional unit to be provided, possibly from the current Midway fleet, because all of y'all currently own those trucks that are at Midway. Possible planning of a Highway 17 station. This would be somewhere located on 17 South near Barrington Ferry area. And then we would also need to look at ordering a replacement engine, and because again, we do have long lead times. When I say we, I'm talking an overall plan. I'm not talking any specific party of the Board of Commissioners or the City of Midway. So please forgive my terminology when I say we. I'm not coming in saying the Board of Commissioners is here to eat 100% of this cost.
In fact, let me pause for a second. So as the mayor contacted us about it, we prefer to take a look at a 5-year plan, which is what he just said. And so what you see in there is that it's a step-in plan. There are certain things that you're going to see that have to happen in year one, and some of those startup costs are equipment, others are uniforms to outfit people. There is no part of this that is not subsidized or paid for, in theory, if the board even wants to move forward with this. And this is why it's before you tonight, to see if there's a next step involved. But it is envisioned that as he walks through this, there would be a contract that would run for the city of Midway, and they would pay 100% of the cost of the equipment cost, the new FTEs that would be required, so that it did not pull away from your mission, which you're still trying to get implemented for the unincorporated areas, included in the budget that you just, so won't take away from anything you're trying to do, but my recommendation is if you enter a contract with them or anybody else, they need to pay the share of that cost. So, excuse me, Chief.
Yes, sir. Any quick questions that I might be able to clarify real quick before I move?
I think Mr. Brown just clarified that, because I was just looking when it said startup costs.
Yes, sir.
And additional tanker.
Yes, sir. I got you.
When I just saw how much the tanker costs.
So years 2 through 5 of a possibility of a contract. In years 2, which is 2026, staffing levels would increase, or would not increase. I do apologize. They would stay with the 6 firefighters. They would be leveling out. In 2027, we would start having discussions about occupying a proposed new fire station, as well as receiving the apparatus. There would be one additional position, which is 3 people, because fire department works on 3 different shifts, A, B, and C. So it would be one lieutenant per shift and 2 firefighters per day. In 2028, you'll see that staffing level will balance out again, and in 2029, there would be an additional full-time firefighter, giving that new station 1 lieutenant, 3 firefighters per day to run out of that new station.
So let me help a little bit again. So you're going to see the detail and probably answers a lot when we go through that 5-year budget plan, because this is just kind of a high-level overview before he digs into the yearly cost. But what would need to happen is we can't continue to run, or wouldn't be able to continue running calls to the city of Midway from Miller Park. That is not good for us. That wouldn't be the best for them. So there, and the discussion we've had is there would need to be another station location down there somewhere. We do have a blank spot in our canvas, which is E.B. Cooper Highway, that we need to be able to get some coverage to. So if you locate a substation down that way, in our plan, it would need to be in a place, not in the city of Midway, not in the city of Riceboro, without territorial envisions. It would need to be centrally located so that, hey, Midway shares, we may share in that station if approved. And oh, by the way, Riceboro may want to share in that as we look down the road. So
There we go.
yes, sir.
That's what I was about to say.
That's right.
Because with all due respect, man, I've been up here 12 years. We've been talking fire for, y'all been talking fire for 20-something years. And a lot of these municipalities, I remember when I first got on, we all met in the room with the council and the mayors and everything. And these same ones said they didn't want to participate, and we moved forward. So I'm just saying, I'm glad because Riceboro is a volunteer.
Yes, sir.
Respect, and I appreciate their service, the volunteers, but I don't really think any new volunteers are signing up.
There need to be a commitment from those cities, or from at least from that city, to say, once we get into the 5-year plan, we commit in the first year to do several things. One is, there's an apparatus. This probably needs to be bought because of the Midway situation and borne by whatever revenue source Midway's gonna achieve to pay the contract. We definitely need to go ahead and look, if you've got a 24-month lead time on an apparatus, then you gotta be envisioning that station, because it would take 2 years, 3 years to get into place. So you gotta make that commitment up front, city, that you're gonna work on that and work with us under this contract to go ahead and get those things in motion, even though they don't pop in until year 3.
And that's the question I have.
Yeah.
Is a 5-year obligation long enough?
Well, it may not be. May not be. I'm sure.
Lead time to get any type of apparatus.
Yeah.
A 5-year commitment and.
Yeah, so you know, as we were talking, and I apologize for bogging us down a little bit, as we were talking about what the next step that the county's gonna need in fire protection, without the cities, it was, though, with the realization of volunteers in place there, but it was say, where does that station need to be located? As we watch growth occur, and I think we know growth's gonna occur on E.B. Cooper, which is a blank area for us already. We know Riceboro, especially east of there, is gonna see some growth. We know Midway is gonna grow because of water systems and stuff. And that station, at some point in time, is gonna need to be put there by the commission anyway. If there is an ability to do that in a contract and get some sharing of that, especially in the operational cost, because those cities will get a heavy benefit. That's what probably is best.
These industries, I don't know why we don't reach out to these industries and ask them to help pay for some of this stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times what happens in those areas, you see they'll make one-time contributions, sometimes from year to year, to help with those things. And that is a possibility on heavy equipment.
I haven't heard D.S. Smith ever.
Yeah, they.
Hey, I don't work from them.
Yeah, and they don't.
They won't help with the road paving.
Never. But,
anyway, sorry to bog you down.
I know, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, they get tax breaks. So I'm just saying.
Yep.
But have not because you asked not.
Well, I mean, I think the city of Riceboro got a truck from Chemtall.
That's Chemtall. I'm saying.
Yeah.
D.S. Smith.
Where at?
Interstate paper, D.S. Smith. I don't know. In a couple months, it'll be called something else. But then out there, the ones that make the brown paper, the rolls, the big rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Log trucks go down there.
These would be the
Paper
first.
comes back out.
I'm sorry. These would be the one-time startup costs associated with that contract down there.
So with this one-time startup costs, just to give you guys some dialogue on it. So all of the equipment that has the number 1 in it, that is because we're having to furnish that equipment to one existing fire truck, bring it up to standards. Where you see 5, that's 5 radios for that one piece of equipment, that one truck. As far as LDH hose, that is 10 sections. All this is rolled up into count for one fire apparatus. Then down at the bottom, where you see the sixes, that is for personnel.
This is with an assumption that one of the 2 units from Midway is serviceable and will fit the need. They had 2 units, Chief mentioned that. Both of them are being evaluated right now. Probably one of them may be usable, and that's the reason one's in here. Now, I will say this, if it turns out that that unit's not fully usable, there will need to be an upfront cost built in for an apparatus, not furnished by us, but through the Midway contract. But right now, we're hoping that one of those is serviceable in there.
Correct. So, me working on budgets, this is the breakdown for the operational side of what my perspective would be of it, what it would cost to bring on those 6 additional firefighters that Midway would need to pay to Liberty County to furnish those 6 firefighters. So as you see salaries and benefits. That is just the employee. That is not any uniforms, any training, nothing. So rolled up in the operational cost is their uniforms, their bunker gear, their additional training requirements that they'll have to keep up with. So total, $549,161 is what it will take to operate these 6 additional firefighters to run out of Miller Park until such time.
One caveat there, sorry again. This is to ensure that the contract does not get subsidized by Liberty County. So we pull internal to our budget there, but we charge back what we've got to do out of that budget.
Joey, that was a question I was gonna ask you about this. Let's just say that they go to a fire and they're saying, well, no, that wasn't a Liberty County, that wasn't a Midway fire, that was a Liberty County fire. I mean, it's gonna be left up to?
It's not gonna be billed by where the location is. I mean, it'll be, I mean, would that happen? I don't know. But, I mean, this is a 5-year contract, flat contract. You're gonna pay us X amount per month or per quarter for the service. And so it's not a, where did the fire occur? How many were there? Cost per call type deal. It really won't matter. Right?
So what's down there now is not?
We
You can't.
We won't be utilizing any of what's
Okay.
down there now because the building is not rehabable. And again, it doesn't make sense to put money in that building if where a regional building needs to be to handle your need and possibly 2 cities is not in the city limits of Midway. Right. I do want to say this because I know there's some citizens probably listening. Even though Miller Park or that building would not be located directly in the city residents still fall within a 5 road mile radius, especially from the new location that would be proposed, so that they would not suffer any further degradation of their insurance tax, okay, or insurance premium cost to do that, if their insurance company recognizes that. So that's the other thing in citing another station is where does everybody still get that break? It does not have to be in the city limits of Midway for them to get that break.
It does not. It just has to be contractually agreed upon between the 2 governments that Liberty County is the responding agency, because for the citizens that live right by the East End complex that are within the city limits of Midway, we know that they're well within 5 road miles. But they will get nothing from our ISO rating because there is their own designated fire response district to that city. You take that away, and there's a contractual agreement between the 2 governments, that barrier and border wall goes away, and we can supply our ISO rating to those within 5 road miles. Sir?
With the amount of employees that you have now, how long can you continue to service Midway and not have the ISO rating affect what's already out there? Additional employees.
So we're playing a very dicey game right now. Something is going to have to give on one side or the other, and the commission has given enough. So I do think it is time for possibly the city to give, because if we continue to handle these calls and it starts affecting our response to the unincorporated citizens of Liberty County, it will affect their ISO, and that is not fair to those taxpaying citizens.
Chief, I'm just just trying to make sense of this. Right now, Midway doesn't have a fire department.
They do. They have a sanctioned fire department, as issued by the Georgia Fire Standards and Training Council.
So, but they're gonna contract with us to provide fire services for their municipality.
So yes, they would contract with us, relinquish their fire compliance back to the state, and Liberty County Fire would then become the fire compliance for the city of Midway.
For the amount, what was that, what was that about?
It's more than just that 549,000, sir, and I'll get to that slide, I believe, right after this one. This is just a quick snapshot. You heard me about increase to personnel. This is just to show you, the more detailed breakdown of those personnel increases. This is that slide to answer your question, Commissioner Gilliard. So
I hadn't asked the question yet, no.
the cost.
Well, this is what I was getting ready to say. That, they're gonna relinquish their fire department.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna provide that for a fee.
Yes, sir.
And I don't quite understand it. So that means that they got the money to have a fire department if they're gonna pay us, right?
I can't speak on, I don't know what the city government has figured out as far as funding or anything like that, sir.
Well, hold on, you just said that it's gonna cost them, let's say, $500,000 or whatever that number is. And if they got that, seem like they could have their own chief, their own everything that we're gonna be doing for them.
Well, so let me help you. So when the mayor came and said, you know, we're in a predicament, they don't have any firefighters, basically, that are answering calls.
But if they got $500,000, they could get
Well, I don't know. See, so, you know, the thing that hasn't been said, well, how much money do you have? We said, look, first of all, we got to get a blessing of the commission before we even come back to you with any hard figures.
Okay.
We're not going to do anything until we come back without the blessing of the commission, which is why we're here tonight, if we even want to do that. The other thing is it's going to cost some money.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to figure out, be talking about what money you have, be talking about ways you can raise money or create funds to pay that contract. But we have not gone back to them with hard figures until you see them and say, you know, yeah, we think we want to take another step and at least show these figures. We don't want to get the cart before the horse. And so it's totally up to the commission as to whether you say, you know what, that's something we think we might be at least interested in taking a look at, seeing what Midway wants to do or has to do, or no. We don't think we want to get in that business.
Okay.
So that's the reason
Yes.
we don't know, Commissioner Geary, how much or what source.
Yeah, I do apologize for, we haven't
okay.
talked numbers with
Yeah.
them, Commissioner.
Okay, all right.
But what I can tell you is, so here is the 5-year cost analysis per year. What this encompasses is salaries, benefits, operations, the 1 year of startup cost, the indirect cost, that's overhead to manage and run, the station loan, that is where in the earlier I talked about the possible building of a station on Highway 17. That is where they would be making a payment towards what that loan is. And then capital equipment, that is for them to cover the cost of a replacement vehicle or any type of necessary capital equipment through that life cycle.
So what you're seeing here are no costs associated with Liberty County contribution dollar-wise. This is a total contract. This is, you've asked us to take a look at, just like we're a private contractor running a fire service, what you would have to have, here's what you'd have to pay for it. This is with no subsidy from the county, correct?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Chief, I see where we got the startup cost in year 1,
Yes, ma'am.
and then throughout, that was just for one apparatus, right?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct,
Is
just
that
for one
solid there we
apparatus.
need?
That was to get the apparatus fully functional that's on hand,
The one they have down-
assuming that it's
Okay.
serviceable. And then what happens, actually in the capital equipment loan, would be going in, ordering a new apparatus that they need for that area, and then them starting to pay a capital equipment cost to us under contract to make that payment. It also envisions then in year 3, what we talked about of a station coming online, and then their cost goes up there too. Unless there's another city and or county that shares in that. This makes no assumption to that value. This is, hey, this is what we'll be glad to run it for you for, no loss to the county, This is the cost.
And then hypothetically speaking, in 5 years, they decide to cancel this contract. What do we do with the additional staff?
There would still be a need for it. As Mr. Brown stated, that E.B. Cooper area.
In 6 years, oh, definitely.
And,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you got to figure out your blank canvas and those pieces you can't
Oh,
cover
no,
right now.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
The issue
it'll-
that I have with this, Mr. Chair, I think not just with the city of Midway right now, I would reopen that conversation with the city of Riceboro and at least let them know what we're thinking about doing possibly to kind of get them on board, you know, so they won't be blindsided. Because I see these numbers, and with all due respect, because what, the city of Midway is what, the third smallest? Well,
Largest.
Third largest, yeah.
Third largest, I don't want to take away from them. But even if you just look at their split from the loss, I don't know, is the mathing?
You would think with this type of
The math ain't math.
numbers here, yeah.
Well, no, they'd have to implement some kind of fee or tax or something to make that
Yeah,
payable.
that's what we.
They
But again,
It'd be on them.
but Commissioner Frazier, hey, look here, again, how they generate that money
It's
they
up to
pay
them.
us is gonna be up to them. All
I
we can
get
do,
it. I
yeah.
just know we just had a conversation with Ms. Richardson earlier about the discussion about other municipalities owing this money right now.
Correct.
So what I'm,
Yeah.
I don't know, when
So-
you
so
do
I
the
would-
same thing
so-
over and
so-
over and over again,
so I would
you
think
expect a different result, it kind of.
No, we wouldn't do that. So I think the best method, if the commission even decides to go for it, I'm not advocating for or against the proposal. I'm just a number cruncher. So, you would, if you entered a contract with them, and it's with anybody, that you had the power of they had the power of implementing a tax, you would either ensure they did that for a continuing source of revenue, or that pursuant to the contract, we implemented a fire tax for that geographical area. You're insured of getting the money, and you're insured of collecting that money. That is what I would propose.
And that's what's going to happen.
And commission, just,
So again, can we look at this not just with the city of Midway and look at it, bring the city of Riceboro in and give them another opportunity like we did 12 years ago to help split this? Because what I'm saying is I really don't feel that one municipality, just like Commissioner Gillard said, I mean, if they had this type of money, they would kind of do it themselves, right?
President Gillard?
They don't have the ability to do it. Right?
well, and commissioners, just so you.
Or maybe I'm missing something.
Well, just so you are aware, the reason why the county was approached by Midway is they're on a time window. Because here soon, their compliance will be pulled from them whether they want it or not. And ultimately, what will happen is it will default to Liberty County Board of Commissioners to handle.
Regardless.
That's what's about to happen. That's what I said 12 years ago. This was.
Yeah, we brought them to the table, all the municipalities, before we started to stand up our
Yes, ma'am.
countywide fire department.
And
No one at that time
we've
wanted to
even
be a
done it,
part of it.
and we've done it again with the city of Midway since then.
Should have just put the fees on and just took over.
Well, I mean, you got Riceboro and Midway down there on that end, they've already got $1 million that they can, what's your number there that they wanna pay to make it work? I mean, they gotta pay 100% of it, right?
Correct. So they haven't agreed to paying anything because they have not seen numbers.
Well, let's talk when we get the money.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right now, we don't have.
Well, and tonight, I just need from the board, your permission to proceed to speak
Absolutely.
with the city of Midway.
And also, can you crunch numbers and reach out to Mr. Chair, if that's okay? Reach out with the
We
city of
can.
Riceboro.
Here's what's so
Well,
important. If a municipality is not willing to give up their fire district, you can't take it from them.
Understood.
So let's play the role here of one municipality says, look, we gotta have you. The other one says, you know what? We don't know, and we ain't fixing to make a decision on that. Then you can't
Can't take it.
take it. You can't just start taxing that entity for fire protection. So
But we
it's-
don't know yet because that conversation's not,
No, because we weren't approached by them, and we've only been approached by
By
Midway.
Midway.
And so I think we've got the answer. We can go back to Midway and said, here's what it is.
Right.
This is what the cost is gonna be. Don't know how you'll raise the money, that's not our problem.
Right.
But here is that cost. And we can go to Riceboro and engage and say, look, Midway's come to us, would you be interested? Are you willing to relinquish your fire
We
district?
might as well go to Walkerville too, while you're at
What do
it.
you think about it?
Well, we
Mr.
wouldn't
Chairman?
run those out of this station.
I
I
know,
mean, it's a whole separate,
understood.
the timeline's not there.
Well, you're talking about going to the Barrington Road now, aren't you?
Everybody goes, but.
Right.
So you ease, it'd be closer to go there, than, nearly as close as would for the Miller Park Station to go to Captain Joe's. So you really wouldn't be that much difference. And you've got the opportunity to have the two more people there that, you know, can help.
You talking
But-
about at Walterville?
Well, no, if you
I mean,
got, if you got Riceboro and Midway's team in one unit, in one central location, then you're probably a little, it may be more feasible. I don't know.
I agree.
And I said I wasn't gonna say that about
agree.
fire no more.
It just draws you in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, when they,
All right,
when they
all right,
song,
all right.
I told
So,
you it was getting hot
what-
here. I literally told you.
What the chief needs is the consensus from the board to now present this to the city of Midway.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
I'll make a
And
motion that he can do that, you know, but, you know, don't put us out there on the line right now.
No, sir.
We're making no
I mean,
commitment to
this-
that.
No,
This is information only, right, Mr. Chairman?
Information to be presented to the city of Midway.
correct.
Present to us first and now to the city of
Very
Midway.
clear on, I
Yeah.
am in no way, shape, or form in any position to agree to anything that is between two governing bodies.
Your residence is
Yeah.
where at, Brian?
My residence is unincorporated Liberty County, east of I-95,
Okay. And what's your address?
165 Anglers Edge Drive.
Midway, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the problem that I see, folks, is you've got Midway goes all the way to Yellow Bluff. So let's just make sure that we're putting everything together here. I mean,
Well, agreed, but don't want to cause confusion there, because out by me, it's county fire.
well, I understand that, but, you know, let's just make sure that everybody understands what is Midway, and I guess.
The
if they
city- the
decide
city
to
of Midway.
annex, we're gonna-
The city of Midway.
Joey?
We got 2 or 3
Yes,
stations on the other side of 95. don't we?
Yeah, but the city of Midway, this is not, this is not,
Correct, the city of Midway.
yeah,
That's the closest post office.
yeah.
But it's about 3 of them across 95, ain't it?
No.
Only two, sir. One staff location and one volunteer location, sir.
No, we're talking post
He
office.
he said east, you said east of I-95.
About 2 or 3.
There's
across
2
95.
east of I-95.
2 county
Yes, sir.
maintained fire stations.
One county maintained and one rented through the sport fishing club out there.
But it's one on Isle White Road, right?
Yes, sir.
That's county.
Substation.
Yes, sir.
And it's one on Islands Highway,
That is correct.
that's county.
Yes, sir.
But that's 2.
There's one on Colonel's Island. You said east of I-95, and I counted for islands and Colonel's Island?
On the
Y'all
other
need to
side,
ride that road a
that
little
would be
bit more.
east. The other side of 95 is there, that's east.
Yes, Isla White is not on the east side of 95.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
Sir, I think my question goes back to the statistics that I requested. Because what I'm saying is it that Midway needs fire protection or public safety from those type of calls?
I'll give you 2021, City of Midway was dispatched to a certain call number and only answered 17%. In 2021, they were dispatched to 396 calls and only answered 17% of those calls.
I get that.
And in 2022, it declined even further than that. So it's all of it, sir.
Right, I mean, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, how many of those calls were to a burning building?
28 each year. And in 2021, they responded to half. In 2022, they responded to less than half. And in every single bit of those calls, Liberty County Fire went to help assist, if not run the actual incident.
I just want to see those.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
the chief's approach is that we
Yes, sir.
talk to the city of Midway see where they are, and then we'll start conversation, but he needs to be able to manage this piece before he broadens his.
Yes, sir.
his workload, staffing, all those things are involved, so.
Yes, sir.
So we can have some conversations with other municipalities, but right now we need to settle this, see where this piece is gonna land, and then work toward future engagement with the other cities.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you all, commissioners.
thank you.
Have we voted on this?
You don't need to vote,
It doesn't
just
need a vote.
consensus.
Yeah.
He's gonna,
Yeah. He takes the show on the road now.
And they don't need to vote on it either.
Chief, when you going down to the council meeting?
I will get further dialogue and timelines from Mr. Brown.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sirs.
Brian, when you leave from here, you don't take none of this home with you.
I eat, breathe, and sleep Liberty County Fire. In fact, my wife tells me all the time.
When you look up and there's just 7 of us.
He does.
Go home is about.
Even when he's off,
100.
But what I'm saying for a minute, I thought you was gonna have me to drop down and give me 50.
No, sir. No, sir. I am still in the military, and so I mean, we as my good friend Larry Logan would do. If you want to do some push-ups, Mr. Guillory, we can do it.
all right, trying to maximize our time.
I've only did 3 in my life.
Agreement for services, Malden and Jenkins.
Yes, sir. This is normally, when we have a transition, really the exit of a tenure to another tenure in the tax commissioner's office. What we generally do is a clear out of that, of the books there. We've got a proposal from Malden and Jenkins, our auditors, to do that. You see basically what they would do, which is basically the same things they do on the audit. This would run for the period of time July 1st, 24 through December 31st of 24. So it would be for that 6-month period of time that follows the audit we're fixing to have, which ends June 30th. And actually, that wouldn't be till next year, but this is an engagement to do what's normally done, which is before the new tax commissioner comes in, give a status of stuff in there for the incoming commissioner.
Makes sense, yeah, be good for
Approval on that, Mr.
need
Chairman?
approval.
Well, yes, sir. I make a motion that we approve the agreement services with Malden and Jenkins.
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the agreement for service with Malden and Jenkins. Any further discussion? All in favor, show your hands, please. Thank you. That's a progressive move. All right, administrative report.
Yes, sir, and I'll try to move through this real quickly for you. Just a quick status upgrade, or update, Mr. Long mentioned Public Works. It's really a little more than 80% complete now, it's about 85. They were trying to pour the final concrete this week down there, as a matter of fact. The weather's been pretty good. And they've secured the inside of the building. They're gonna go ahead and do HVAC startup this week so they can put final touches on the paint, which looks real good in that facility. So.
That whole thing is concrete, Joy?
That whole thing, you authorize concrete to be put around.
We
right?
did for parking.
Right, for heavy equipment and
Yeah.
stuff and use like that, and that's just a couple of shots of that on the interior of the shop. I encourage you to go by and take a look at it. For what they're leaving, it's, it's really gonna be a lot more efficient for y'all. Yes, sir, for y'all, it'd be great.
Y'all pick me up?
The other thing you mentioned was Miller Park Pavilion.
I was to get a van.
I mean, it's good stuff. It's Miller Park Pavilion, you can see the plumbing coming out of the ground there. They did encounter some little bit challenging soils, as we know exist down there for the footers, so we had to do a little bit of a change order to put some rock in there to shore those up. That went well, they've got the compaction and everything's going along well there.
And where is that, Joy, in the back?
It is, yes, sir, by the playground.
By the basketball court?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Next time you go that way, just take one look over there.
Are we gonna stop by there on the way out or back in? All right, call to order.
And just to let you know, this building is starting to come along. They've started clearing the
getting
property
phone calls.
areas. Yes, sir, for the silt fence to go up there. So all the permits were approved. The good thing is the contractor didn't wait for the permit approval from the city to go ahead and start making submittals to the architect for long lead times items. And so he's already done that. Those have already been turned around. So now those items can be placed on order. And then there's some mandatory pre-construction stuff that's got to go on. And we will be looking, once he clears that site enough, and the timber's got to be pulled off, to do a groundbreaking date with y'all. So we'll be getting with you on that. The other thing is Miller Park Station, as you mentioned, the final punch is complete. There still are a few issues out there, as Commissioner Stevens mentioned, and there is a ribbon cutting schedule for the 4th at 10 o'clock. So you should already have that on your calendar. These are just some things. Wonder where the ON went down low. Sorry about that. The EMS Administrative Training Facilities, the proposals are on the street. They open the 29th of October. The SR 38 bypass due to be let by GDOT any day now. Yeah, it's all in their hands. We've done everything we're supposed to do. Mr. Long mentioned the Water System West. The Mid-Coast lease expansion process of 33 acres still in the permitting phase there with the Corps of Engineers. He mentioned the signalization. The Islands Highway improvement, the 4-laning, is rapidly coming to close now on its design, and we'll start doing some approval processes on that. And then Barrington Ferry, he mentioned too, on the design.
And that was Barrington Ferry in 17, and Lewis Frazier, or Barrington Ferry in 119.
Lewis Frazier in 17. Yes, sir. And actually, we got a note this week on that. We got a meeting, as Trent mentioned, on that tomorrow. They're proposing to move that let date back. That's a GDOT let project to like 2027. So I'm gonna have some conversation with them about that tomorrow.
Good. We hadn't heard anything more about the bridge on Lewis Frazier lately.
We have not, and I'll get you an update on that. Okay. I will. I'll make a note, yes, sir, to do that. Again, then we've been on the road. We've started on the road. We did a couple of presentations this week on T-Splosh 2, one to Rotary, one to Board of Realtors. We have others that are scheduled there on the 30th. That took wrong.
With 9:30.
No. 9:30. Let's try 9:30. Yes. I'm not sure what happened there in the conversion of slides, but you see those dates that are out there: Community Complex on the 2nd, and then on the 9th, Savannah Tech, and then Performing Arts is an eggs and issue breakfast that the Chamber's putting on. So, you know, those are being pretty well attended, good information out there. We're going to do a taping session in here so that we can run one up on Facebook and have it available. Calendar dates. So you got a calendar, should have a calendar there, I think that Maria did for you. The September time frame, it does show the T-Splosh presentation on the 30th here at the Annex at 6 o'clock. Of course, the countywide planning session is noted for next week on the 26th and 27th of September. Looking in October, the extra stuff there, the T-Splosh presentation, the ribbon cutting at Miller Park, T-Splosh again on the 9th, the legislative workshop.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's just Savannah Tech. Carry on.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Savannah Tech. And then, again, those are shows on there. The only other thing is that legislative session that some of you may be signed up for. So that's something I want, Maria, I've asked her that we've talked about, forgot you're sitting over here, that we're doing as this calendar for y'all too.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir, as a reminder. So,
Calendar invites save our lives.
They sure do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you know me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You were saying something about
Send
Barrington
one for
Ferry,
the-
for a future
break.
fire station. That's not the EMS,
Breakfast.
that's not near the EMS building, no, that's on 17, is it?
no, sir, might be
it's
on
further down.
17 on down toward
It's
Rice.
further down where Barrington Ferry actually.
Might be. I mean, that, you know, just as a thought, that it would need to be in that area somewhere to accommodate exactly what y'all are talking
But
about.
the area that you're talking about, how far is that from the EMS? About a mile or two?
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half.
Mr. Brown, you need us to sign the budget
I do. I was gonna give
before-
that. I know we got a
before we leave?
land acquisition matter.
Okay, all right, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
need
sir.
a motion for that?
You want to offer one?
I do,
Yes,
sir.
Is that-
Just
that offer
wanna-
the-
that we go into executive session. I make the motion for executive session for land acquisition.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, show of hands. We will now go into executive
All
session.
right.
All in favor? All right. Chair, take a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Thank y'all for your service. Everything y'all do, man. Y'all make me proud. I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you, man.
You gonna run my fire chief off?
All right, I'm going out.
What?